For an unimaginable length of time, our planet was a very different place. It was a world ruled by giants. These were the dinosaurs, magnificent creatures that walked the Earth for over 150 million years. They came in all shapes and sizes, a truly spectacular display of life's invention. Some were as small as chickens, scurrying through the undergrowth of giant ferns. Others were colossal, larger than any land animal alive today. Their long necks could reach the tops of the tallest trees, and their heavy footsteps would have made the very ground tremble. This was their kingdom, a vibrant and thriving world full of ancient life. Imagine a vast, lush landscape under a warmer sun. Great forests of strange-looking trees and giant ferns covered much of the land. Huge, slow-moving rivers carved their way through these prehistoric plains. Here, the enormous plant eaters, like the Triceratops with its 3 fearsome horns, browsed peacefully. They moved in great herds, just as many large animals do today. Nearby, the Brachiosaurus, with its neck like a crane, would strip leaves from the high canopy. The air was filled with the calls of these incredible animals and the buzzing of ancient insects. It was a world in balance, a complex web of life that had been stable for millions of years. Life was not always peaceful in this ancient world, of course. For every gentle giant munching on leaves, there was a formidable hunter. The most famous of these is the Tyrannosaurus rex, a powerful predator with a massive jaw filled with teeth as long as bananas. It was the apex predator of its time, an animal perfectly designed for the hunt. Other hunters, like the swift velociraptors, were smaller but no less dangerous. They were intelligent and likely hunted in packs, using their sharp claws to bring down their prey. This constant dance between the hunter and the hunted was simply a part of the natural order on this dinosaur-dominated Earth. The dinosaurs were masters of their environment. They had adapted to live in almost every corner of the globe, from the warm, wet tropics to the cooler polar regions. Some had developed thick hides for protection, while others had long, whip-like tails to defend themselves. They laid eggs in nests, much like modern birds and reptiles, caring for their young. For countless generations, their world seemed secure, as if it would last forever. But the universe had other plans. A catastrophic event was approaching, one that would change the course of life on Earth forever, and bring the long reign of the dinosaurs to an abrupt and dramatic end. The end came suddenly and with unimaginable violence. It arrived from the vast emptiness of space. A huge rock, an asteroid about 10 kilometers wide, was on a collision course with our planet. It traveled at an incredible speed, many times faster than a speeding bullet. For the dinosaurs living their lives below, there was no warning. The sky would have looked normal one moment, and the next, a new, terrifyingly bright star would have appeared. This visitor from space was about to strike the Earth with a force greater than all the world's nuclear weapons combined, a truly cataclysmic event. The asteroid struck what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The impact was catastrophic. Upon hitting the Earth, it released a phenomenal amount of energy, creating a blinding flash of light and an intense wave of heat. This heat wave would have instantly incinerated everything for thousands of kilometers around the impact site. It would have been like standing next to a gigantic oven. The force of the impact also created a crater over 180 kilometers wide and sent unimaginable quantities of rock and dust high up into the atmosphere. The solid ground would have rippled like water, triggering colossal earthquakes across the entire globe. The immediate effects were just the beginning of the horror. The impact also created gigantic tsunamis, waves perhaps hundreds of meters high that raced across the oceans. They would have washed over coastal areas far inland, destroying everything in their path and changing the shape of the coastlines forever. At the same time, super hot material thrown up from the impact rained back down upon the Earth. These tiny, fiery droplets heated the atmosphere to scorching temperatures and started massive wildfires that burned across continents. The world was plunged into a fiery and chaotic state, a true global disaster. The sky, once blue, turned black. The enormous cloud of dust, soot, and debris from the impact and the fires spread around the entire planet. It was so thick that it completely blocked out the light from the sun. Darkness fell over the Earth, a long, cold night that would last for months, perhaps even years. Without sunlight, the world's plants could no longer perform photosynthesis, the process they used to create food. They began to wither and die on a massive scale. The very foundation of the food chain, on land and in the seas, was beginning to crumble under this dark, suffocating blanket. The asteroid impact was the main event, but it may not have been the only cause of the dinosaurs' demise. At around the same time, the Earth was experiencing other major changes. In a region that is now India, massive volcanic eruptions were taking place. These were not ordinary volcanoes. For thousands of years, vast floods of lava poured out, covering huge areas of land. These eruptions released enormous amounts of gas, like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, into the atmosphere. This would have already been putting the planet's climate under immense stress long before the asteroid even arrived. These powerful volcanic eruptions had a profound effect on the global environment. The huge quantities of volcanic gases would have caused significant climate change. The sulfur dioxide could have created a haze that cooled the planet by blocking sunlight, similar to the asteroid's dust cloud. The carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, would have then led to a long period of global warming once the dust and haze settled. This would have created a wildly unstable climate, swinging from cold to hot. The world the dinosaurs knew, with its stable, warm climate, was disappearing, replaced by a world of unpredictable and extreme weather. So, the dinosaurs were facing a world that was attacking them from multiple directions. They had the immediate devastation from the asteroid impact, with its darkness and fire, but they also had the longer-term problems caused by the volcanoes and the changing climate. The air itself may have become toxic in some areas, and the oceans would have become more acidic from absorbing these gases, harming marine life. It was a perfect storm of disasters. Life on Earth was being pushed to its absolute limit, and many species simply could not adapt quickly enough to survive these overwhelming and rapid changes. This combination of an asteroid impact and massive volcanic activity is what many scientists believe sealed the dinosaurs' fate. One disaster alone might have been survivable for some, but the two together were simply too much. The asteroid delivered the sudden knockout blow, while the volcanoes had already been weakening the planet's ecosystems for a very long time. It was a 1-2 punch from which the ruling giants could not recover. The world they had dominated for so long was becoming completely uninhabitable for them. Their time was, tragically, coming to an end. In the aftermath of the catastrophe, the world was a desolate and empty place. The great dinosaurs were gone. The mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex no longer stalked the plains, and the colossal herbivores no longer browsed the forests. 75% of all species on Earth had vanished. The planet was quiet, but life, as it always does, endured. Hidden away in burrows, in the water, and in sheltered places were the survivors. Among them were small, furry creatures. These were our distant ancestors, the early mammals. During the age of dinosaurs, they were small and lived in the shadows, but now their moment had arrived. With the great reptiles gone, a world of opportunity opened up for these survivors. The mammals, being small, did not need as much food to survive the difficult years after the impact. Many were also warm-blooded, which may have helped them cope with the drastic temperature changes. As the dust settled and sunlight returned to the planet, plants began to grow again. With their main predators gone, the mammals began to emerge from the shadows. They started to explore the empty world, to diversify, and to fill the ecological roles that the dinosaurs had left vacant. This was the beginning of the age of mammals. Over millions of years, these small, shrew-like creatures evolved into an incredible variety of forms. Some grew larger and became the new herbivores, like horses and elephants. Others became the new predators, like cats and wolves. Some returned to the sea, evolving into whales and dolphins. And one group, the primates, took to the trees. They developed grasping hands and forward-facing eyes. This lineage would eventually lead to monkeys, apes, and much, much later to us, human beings. The dinosaurs' extinction, as devastating as it was, directly paved the way for our own existence. Today, scientists are quite certain that the asteroid impact was the primary cause of the great dinosaur disappearance. The evidence is strong. From the giant crater in Mexico to a thin layer of asteroid dust found in rock layers all over the world, marking the exact time of the extinction. While the volcanic activity and climate change were significant contributing factors, it was the asteroid that delivered the final fatal blow. The dinosaurs are gone, but they are not forgotten. Their incredible story serves as a powerful reminder of how fragile life can be, and how dramatically and suddenly the world can change.